Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for July 31st. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. It was day 23 in the house, and there's a vote. There's a vote. And there's a lot of talk about this vote and whether or not they will flip it, whether or not they will tie the vote, force Lauren to break a tie, and potentially split the entire game in two. And with me to talk through all of that, Chantele. How you doing, Chantele?
I'm not bad, but I don't seem to remember the feeds cutting out as much in previous years because that has just made this week just even more insufferable. Because it's just like, okay, finally, like maybe a conversation that might be leading to something else, and then we get the music, and so I got through it, but it was a little bit frustrating for me this recap review.
Yeah, I think honestly, probably Luke's fault, if we're being real.
Oh, really? Okay, so you think that they're just like anytime that something problematic might be said, like they just cut it?
That's my theory. I think the people at the button are like, if I don't block it, I'm in trouble. So I need to block everything that might even come close.
And now it's not necessarily what we're watching. It could just be anywhere in the house. They see something and they just block the feeds. Because it's like sometimes
Listen,
it's nothing.
if you had a button that said, my job is safe as long as I keep pressing this button, probably gonna press it a lot.
Really? Well, can we fire that guy? Please. Please.
All right. So let's talk through the day. Of course, Lauren is the HOH. Adrian, Kelly, and Will are up on the block. Now, Lauren, along with her allies, Vince and Zach, would love for Adrian to stay. And they would also kind of love for Will to go. And so we've been talking a lot about will they force a tie in the event that Kelly wins the blockbuster? Because here's the thing, right? Lauren, the HOH, has the power to nominate 3 people. It ended up being 4 people. She has, in fact, chosen to nominate 3 out of those 4 people, basically the people that are like kind of on her side a little bit. The people that she has some amount of working relationship with. Is Keanu a valuable person for her to work with? No, not particularly. And he's not the most egregious nominee here. But for the most part, she does have people that she's not really working with and doesn't really talk with and doesn't talk game with at all. However, she has chosen to nominate 3 of those 4 people, and only one of the people that she nominated is somebody that she doesn't really talk any game with and doesn't have any good relationship with. Of course, she used to because she was in an alliance with him, but never really talked game with him within that alliance. So that's fine. That's fine. So now she's like, well, let's hope that we can get out that person. And here's the thing. They have the votes. They have at least 6 votes plus her tiebreaker, so they can they can't evict Will. They can do it if they want to. And so the question is, do they want to? Will they do it? Are they willing to do it? Are they going to gather these votes? And that is really the question of the day. And we will see this plan progress over time. Lauren really wants it. Vince really wants it. Zach really wants it. They all want Adrian to stay. And we're going to find out, are Catherine and Riley willing to jump on board, because they're very necessary votes. Is Keanu on board? Of course, Keanu's on board. And then of course, the person who comes off the block, Adrian or Kelly, they should be on board as well. So the plan for the day: figure out where Catherine and Riley stand, figure out if they've got the willpower to evict Will, and move from there.
Which is fine. It is sound. But what I think is just frustrating. It's like, okay, let's just make her break the tie. Like that would just be like a lot easier. Like they're going to be able to have Catherine come along, even if Riley doesn't come along. I think Catherine's going to likely do what Lauren wants. It's her best friend in the house, seemingly. They seemingly have been working together. She doesn't care for Will necessarily, and so I feel like they can get their 6, get her to be the tiebreaker, and it shouldn't be that hard. To be going back and forth all day, having the same conversation for most of the day, trying to get more numbers on their side when they pretty much have enough. And Lauren just needs to, buckle up and just break that damn tie.
Yes. So we started the day with Adrian, who was trying to figure out how to stay and trying to figure out his reads on the house. He sees that Morgan is obviously working pretty closely with Zach and Vince. And so in his mind, he knows that he has, or roughly should have, 6 votes. But the big thing is, can we get a 7th vote? Because we don't want to force Lauren to break a tie. And he's tried talking to Lauren and she hasn't committed to breaking a tie. So in his mind, he definitely needs 7. And so in his mind, Morgan makes sense as the 7th vote because she's working really closely with Zach and Vince. She's in love with Zach and she spends all of her time with Vince. He also is talking through this theory that he has where he's like, the thing about Rachel is that I think because she's a former winner who's definitely going to have struggle in the final 2, that means she's definitely going to have to make big moves soon if she wants any chance of winning. So Rachel's going to make big moves. And who's a big move? Interesting. And I'm just like, why are we going through all this is just what Ashley told you yesterday. Ashley literally just said to you word for word, Rachel wants to make big moves because Ashley knows that Rachel wants to go after Vince. She was just trying to tell you that. I don't know why you're going through all this other stuff.
I think it's so that he has something to game about because he hasn't really been gaming in the way that I was expecting him to game. Preseason, I thought he was a really big super fan. And so I think that him talking this through, I think it's making him feel like he's actually playing Big Brother and that he kind of sniped out Rachel and he just forgets that he got the intel and that he's the one that's discovering what's going on in the game. It seems like everybody wants to get one up on Rachel this whole season. They don't want to get got by Rachel. And so I think that this is just him being like, I know where she is. I know what she's doing. She can't pull a fast one on me, even though it doesn't really have anything to do with him specifically.
Yeah, and that's the vibe, we've gotten from Adrian all along. He has never even come close to trying to basically work with anybody other than the select people that he is trying to work with. He says it even in this conversation. He's like, man, I think I'd feel safer with a Mickey HOH than a Lauren one at this point. And it's like, well, then maybe you're on the wrong side, bro.
Why fight against it?
Why are you continuing to try to appease the people that are putting you on the block and not even committing to breaking a tie to save you? Maybe change tactics at this point.
100%. He's definitely digging his heels in here. I don't know if I would be so excited to be working with the people that have clearly, maybe they want me to stay, but they didn't care if I went. They put me up and they're not necessarily doing everything that they can to keep me in this game. And so I would be like, hey, will you take me? I'll go against these people, save me, and I will be, you're the person that will take out all these other people on the other side for you. I definitely.
Yeah. The thing is, and this might sound strange, but it is true. If Adrian had put more work in with Mickey and the rest of the women, he wouldn't be on the block right now. Yep. Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird, but it's actually true because they wouldn't have wanted him on the block so badly.
They'd be like, oh, there's no way we don't want him up there. No, let's protect him. Let's keep him. But he hasn't really, from what I've seen anyways, made any sort of relationships with anybody. Well, obviously the people that have been putting him up, I guess, a little bit, but it hasn't been effective. So
yeah, and it was them pushing Lauren to get him on the block. That's the reason he's on the block. If they hadn't pushed so hard, he wouldn't be on the block. And so, sometimes appeasing your allies or the people that you would prefer to work with, if they, don't have spines, then you actually need to be appeasing the people who do have spines, and they're the ones pushing things. So Adrian talks to Vince about his Rachel theory, and he's like, hey, I think Rachel, because of all this stuff, she's going to make a big move, and you need to be worried about that. And I think people were a little bit rightfully like, what does this have to do with you?
Yeah, who cares? Is this a conversation for right now? Are you trying to say that you're going to go after Rachel? Like, if you say,
are you sure this is helping you? Because making him more scared of Rachel when him being scared of Rachel is why he might not vote to keep you is probably not the play here. But he talks through the Rachel theory, and then he's like, all right, so my thought is, can you get, because I know you're working really closely with Morgan, can you get Morgan to vote to keep me too? And Vince's response is like, what? I don't know. I don't even understand why people always say that I'm like associated with Morgan like that. Like, I don't even know why people would say that. Like, we're not even that close.
Okay, honestly, Vince, I actually believe Vince was the head of household this week because he actually was leading a lot of the conversations. And it's like, it's very interesting. I don't know if I want to or not want to see him with power again because he does good work, but it's not like it doesn't work. Like, I don't know. It's his game is very, very interesting to me. And it's like, it's pretty obvious that has some sort of game relationship with Morgan. So why he's completely not owning up to it is it's just wild to me. He's a very interesting player.
Very interesting there.
So is he good?
That's really largely the extent of Adrian's campaign throughout the day. He tried, working Vince, but Vince is really not a person to be worked. There's then a whole Jimmy saga that occurs, where now I have to keep explaining because like whenever we go off on a Keanu detour, I sort of have to reset you on just to make sure that you recognize we are departing reality. We are going into the land of make believe. We're on the train, and we're going into Keanu's world. And in Keanu's world, he has figured out that Rachel and Jimmy are these two floaters in the middle of the house. He's got his side with Vince and Zach and Riley and a couple of the women. And then he's got the women's side. And that's, Morgan and Mickey and Ashley and, Will's there. And so, but Rachel and Jimmy, they're in the middle. And that's because Keanu is doing such a phenomenal job of luring them to his side, offering them pieces of information, valuable information that they didn't know, and they didn't know it because it's not true. And so he's luring them over. And so in his mind, he's like, we've already got the votes. Now it's time for me to really lock in my 2 extra votes, Rachel and Jimmy. And he tells Jimmy basically all of this. He says, hey, we've got the votes. We've got at least 5 because he's not sure about Catherine, being a woman and all.
Right.
She's, only loosely a part of the bro alliance. He's not sure about Catherine, but with Jimmy and Rachel, they'll have at least 7, and it'll probably snowball into even more. So don't worry about it. We've got these votes. And Jimmy is like, yeah, I mean, listen, I want to be on the right side of the votes. So if what you're saying is true, yeah, I mean, I would consider, listen, I just don't want to be on the wrong side of the votes. And so Jimmy and Keanu's like, perfect, because we're the right side of the votes. Jimmy's like, okay. And then goes up and talks to Lauren and Catherine, who are both people heavily considering keeping Adrian and evicting Will. And he's like, Keanu thinks that they have the votes to get rid of Will. That's not happening, right? And they're like, well, yeah, maybe. And he's like, I mean, obviously the votes aren't there. That would be so silly. And so he's talking through that. And then he goes and because he's like, well, obviously we have Vince and we have Rachel, and he counts all the votes plus Vince plus Zach. And they're like, well, what if Vince did want to evict Will? How would you feel then? He's like, I mean, I guess I would go with the numbers, but I don't think that's happening. And he goes to Zach and he's like, hey, Zach, Keanu's trying to like pull all these votes to get rid of Will. But obviously the votes aren't there and we don't want to be on the wrong side of the vote. Right, Zach? And Zach's like, well, no, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the vote. And he's like, exactly. And this is what Jimmy has been doing. Now, to be fair to Jimmy, he believes what he's saying. Whereas in previous weeks, he's kind of like forced this narrative of, hey, the House is voting one way and you don't want to be on the wrong side of the House. In this instance, he actually just genuinely thinks that that Vince and Zach would be with him. But from the perspective of Zach, this is now the third time in a row that Jimmy's running around acting like he is the House. And he's pissed about it. He said, oh, I can't believe Jimmy just came up to me doing that. He was soft bullying me into trying to vote his way.
I mean, soft bullying, it's a new term. Is this going to be a new term in the Big Brother lexicon? I mean, I understand it because Zach has like some other ideas as what's going on. And so Jimmy is not right necessarily here. And so I think Zach is feeling a little bit guilty with the fact that like Jimmy doesn't have all the information to be actually been saying the right thing. And so I think his soft bullying is the fact that like he thinks that he has the right information, but he doesn't have all the information as to what Zach is feeling and the fact that he's kind of teetering back and forth, if that was understood.
And so basically this whole thing with Jimmy like acting like he's speaking for Vince and pretending like he's talked to him about this when they know that Vince is on board with them, or at least they think. It's really pissing Zach off. It's really pissing Catherine off because Catherine's up there and she's like, yeah, I want Will to go. Catherine, actually, it turns out, is probably the most locked in person besides Keanu to vote to evict Will, which, of course, has to be true because she's the person that Keanu was the least sure about. So she says, I'm voting Will out. I don't even care if I'm the only one. She is basically pulling an Adrian from week one. She is, which is fitting because she is becoming a target next week. But that's how she feels about it, and that's what she's doing. And this does serve to, make Lauren feel even more bold about this. Catherine is pissed at Jimmy for what she's doing. Jimmy, again, getting zero credit for not nominating Catherine or Riley that last week. And so it's just kind of snowballing right now. Jimmy, in some ways, has only further invigorated this idea of splitting the house and evicting Will. And Vince comes up and talks to Lauren about it, and they're kind of set. They're like, okay, I think, we count the votes over and over, even if we only have 6, even if we're not able to get that 7th. Are you willing to break the tie? And Lawrence, I am. I'm willing to do it. Like, I think we should do this. And then once they decide that, okay, we have 6 votes, we'll tie it up, we'll break the tie, we'll evict Will to save Adrian. I mean, in our perfect world, both Adrian and Kelly are safe. Could we just do the same thing with Kelly? Which is how I was feeling about it. Like, okay, if they're locked in to do this, the next inevitable step should be realizing you can do the same thing to protect Kelly, right? But they go, nah, we wouldn't have the votes to save Kelly.
It's like, you don't think the same people could save the what? How does that sound logic?
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure you just counted 6 votes.
And you'd break the tie.
It'd be the same votes plus Adrian in this instance. But what happens is, and again, I mentioned this last night, but like, I don't know if Vince did this on purpose because he just doesn't want Kelly here, or if he genuinely just messed up. But he started counting like, would we have the vote? Because Lauren asks like, oh, well, could we save Kelly too? And Vince is like, I don't think we'd have the votes. It would be, like Rachel, Mickey, Morgan, Ava, Jimmy, Will, oh, sorry, yeah, I got to 7. Yeah, they have at least 7 to evict Kelly. So it's like this is Kelly against Will. You counted Will. What do you mean?
I think he might be wanting to count himself. I think that he's not going to be. He doesn't want to vote for her to stay.
So I spent most at this point. It's fairly locked in, and on top of that, Lauren says, "Well, what do I tell Adrian? Because he keeps asking me if I'm going to break the tie, and I don't want him. Like I am willing to, but I don't want to tell him that because I don't want him to use that in his campaign. Because if it doesn't happen, I don't want people to know that I was willing to do that." And she's like, "I'm kind of feeling like I should just tell him yes, because then, even if I change my mind and I evict him, he'll just be gone."
Oh, look at that concept.
And she's like, Vinny, just tell me what to do. Should I do it? And Vince, after much hemming and hawing, well, it could make sense this way. It could make sense that way. And yeah, you should do it. You should just do it.
Please just do something. Yeah, it's their final two is definitely an interesting one because they're both don't want to take action and like make a decision, and so it kind of just goes around in circles just listening to them, and I'm like, just like, can we wrap this up and just decide on something and just do it? Yeah, they're pretty annoying to watch, the two of them.
So Adrian comes in and he asks her again, and she says, "Listen, I've been worried. I don't want to tell you yes because I don't want you using this in your campaign because ideally, essentially, it doesn't get out." But yeah, like she essentially says, "Yeah, I'm basically willing to break a tie to save you. Like we're looking to make this happen." And he's like, "Perfect. So now you're willing to tell me who wanted me up on the block this week?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I really don't remember."
Oh dear. No, dear, that's the worst excuse.
No, I really genuinely, I know it sounds, I don't remember.
Names, we want names, Lauren. Give us names.
But at this point, not only have they kind of locked in their votes, they've committed to going to a tie for Lauren to break the tie. Lauren has now told Adrian, "I'm going to do this." And this only has sort of furthered my view of like, okay, at this point, it should only be a matter of time for them to really start to consider the same thing with Kelly, because it's really the same thing, especially for Vince, where Kelly is better for him than Adrian is. Like, he doesn't see it that way, but like, if you're willing to go this far and be this open about it, are you really going to vote out Kelly to keep Will, even though Will will likely know that you were going to evict him and the whole house will know that you were about to potentially split this vote? Like you kind of have to go all in. And so I'm waiting for them to realize this. I'm waiting for them to go and come to the conclusion that they should save Kelly as well. But in the meantime, Keanu is still moving. And this conversation happens while the episode is airing. He goes to Rachel in the boxing gym, and he's like, "Rachel, no one knows we're together. I mean, this is working really well." And of course, no one knows they're together because they're not. And he talks about, yeah, so those other 4, they're together. She's, what other 4? Mickey, Will, Ashley, Morgan. Come on, Rachel. Don't you know? She's like, "Well, I don't think they're the problem, though." What do you mean problem? What does that even mean? She's like, "I don't think you should be going after them." It's like, Rachel, God, who would I be going after? Come on. And this is the tone of the entire conversation, by the way. Like You know how like when you're a kid and then there's like another kid who's like a year older than you and acts
Already
like you're
done
the
it.
stupidest person on earth for
Mhm.
everything you say because they know so much more than you, but
Mhm.
they're actually just still also a kid. And also in this instance, I guess you're like a genius and you're actually saying true things. That's the vibe Keanu's giving, is just like idiot. You don't know how this works. God, Rachel, why do I have to explain everything to you? Oh my God. And so he goes on about the vote. He's like, so listen, this is what's happening. We're voting out Will. And Rachel's like, Will? What do you mean? Like, I don't think the votes are there to vote out Will. And he's like, Rachel, look me in the eyes. We have the votes. And you know, I will give Keanu this. About this, he is potentially correct, right? And he's, come on, Rachel. Come on. Obviously, she's like, you think Zach and Vince are on board? He's like, I don't think, I know. Wow. Well, I guess I just don't know what's going on in the house. She's like, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Rachel.
It was just like
I got
so.
this shit figured out, bro.
I mean, he does. He has his finger on the pulse of this house. I mean, you know, broken clock is right twice a day. And this instant, he actually is correct, generally speaking. But how he relays this information to Rachel, she like, I don't know how she has the patience, because she's just allowing him to be patronizing and speak to her as if she's never played this game before and that she needs his tutelage to be able to make it through one vote in this game. She, yeah, has the patience, because I would not be able to not roll my eyes, not like be sarcastic back. Like, I would just be so combative with that man.
Listen, I think that you could really be the first two-time winner. You know, I'm gonna help. Just listen to me. I'm gonna help you make that happen. You know what I mean? Just keep following my advice.
Well, I do have one question though about Keanu. I don't know if he was talking about this with Rachel or with his previous conversations yesterday, but I'm starting to believe that he believes that he actually voted out whoever he. I can't even know who like. He's saying that Will, he like, I can't believe that Will is lying so hard right now. And then he's like, and then it allows me to be able to own up to my vote. And I'm like, I'm starting to second guess myself, because I'm like, no, we saw in the diary room who did what. But do you think he's just like believes this lie now, or is he like, he's so emphatic about how he did not vote. Well, he voted
He's
out whoever.
he's just deep into his D&D campaign.
Okay.
He's gone so far undercover that now the truth feels like the real undercover.
Okay. So he's just believing his own lies at this point, right? Like,
No, who knows?
like, because it makes me second guess myself. I'm like, I get confused because he's so emphatic about it. Anyways, I just need to throw that in there.
Yes. Well, Rachel does say, like, listen, Keanu, what you're saying is that all the alpha bros are going after the girls, but I'm a girl. He's like, what? No, it's not about that. We're including Lauren. So
Lauren's not voting.
like basically like one of our alliance members is a woman. So after this conversation, he's talking to the cameras. He's like, nailed it. Boom. 2 HOHs in a row from me. Yeah. And now I'm so valuable to Rachel and Jimmy. Like, I'm bringing them so much information. Like, I'm blowing their minds of what's happening in this house. They literally couldn't get rid of me if they wanted to, because I'm like their quarterback.
Like, with the way that I think this week is gonna go, hopefully, I wonder if his bubble is gonna burst, because I don't think it's gonna go the way that he thinks it is, and that will be exciting, to be honest. But he'll probably say like, I planned this anyways. Actually,
So that's what Keanu is up to. Morgan is on a little bit of her own journey through the day. And it has to do with, you guessed it, Zach. It has to do with wall comps. And it also has to do with Mickey. So Morgan's been on a little bit of a tear. Now, there's a couple of things happening here. One is that Zach spent so much time with Lauren the night before. I talked about this. He did his whole, so what did you think of me initially? And now what do you think of me now? Well, he did that with Lauren. Remember, he did that with Morgan a few last week. And so Morgan saw that he was up there a lot. And apparently she was pretty upset about that last night or the night before. And then Zach also just spent a long time talking to Ashley today in what I would call cuddling vibes. Cuddling vibes. They're like laying down together talking. And they were doing that for a long time. And now, don't worry, we'll talk about the Ashley side of this later. But for now, on the Morgan side of it, she's not feeling super hot right now. And she's complaining to Vinny about it first, then eventually also to Zach. Now, she's not complaining about Zach. She's actually complaining about something else. She's complaining about Mickey. And she is upset because she feels like she's being iced out by Mickey. And she's being, like, on one hand associated with Mickey a lot, but on the other hand, Mickey's not like telling her much. Mickey's spending all this time with Ashley and these other people, and she feels like Mickey doesn't trust her as much anymore. And she's still going to end up on the block with Mickey, and Mickey's closer to so many more people. And so if she's on the block next to Mickey, she's the one that's going to get sent home. And did you know Keanu called me a snake? Oh my God. And so Keanu's going to win. He's going to put me up next to Mickey on the block, and then I'm going to get voted out. So now I have to win the HOH competition this week, which means I might not even get to play in the wall comp next week, which like that's going to suck so much. Like I literally just want to be on the wall comp, and then I can go home. Like, not that I'd want to go home, but like that's all I care about is the wall comp. And I'm serious. She actually said that.
Is it because she knows she's going to win? Like, is that it? Like, she just, like, she is the body type, and like, I'm sure she's practiced, but when she hasn't practiced necessarily as much as Adrian has practiced, so she might have an upset here that Adrian might win over her, but who cares about the wall comp?
It's genuinely, I think that like if I didn't know any better, I would say that there are two things that matter. You know how like Dan in the diary room where it was like, man, there are like just two, like my family and Big Brother. Those are the two things. If Morgan did a Morgan's funeral, she'd be like, there are only two things I care about in this life: Zach and the wall comp. And I'd be like, yeah, that tracks given the conversation topics.
That definitely tracks. It is quite bizarre. Maybe she just hasn't seen other cons. Like, I would be like, I want to play OTEV. Like, that's the one I'd be like super excited about playing, and that's a lot further in the game usually. The wall comp, I'm like, meh. But maybe she just wants to look like really good at something physical to show off to Zach. Like, maybe that's what it is. Because like, you know, then he'd probably pick her up and hug her after and be like, oh my God, you did so well. Like, you know? Or like she's shivering and you just like, you know, take her down and like nurse her back to health.
Mm-hmm. And then she just continues to go and I just feel like they don't want to talk to me about personal things. Like, I just want to hang out with you and Zach all the time, Vinny, because like you guys let me talk about personal things. It's like, just because I'm a model doesn't mean that I can't relate to the things you're talking about. Just because I don't have a 401k because I'm a model doesn't mean that I'm not like a normal person that can like talk about like regular things. This house is so weird.
And she's also kind of comparing herself to like Will, like the older people in the house, and be like, I'm only like a couple of years younger than them. But I'm like, but you don't have like children necessarily. Like, there's some things that they're able to collectively speak about that you just don't have any knowledge. And also, you're only talking to these younger guys, one of which you have a huge crush on. So it's interesting that she feels like she's not relating, but she's actually not really trying, and she's kind of pulling herself away from, you know, the people that are around her age.
Yes, and I bring this up because this has been this is not the first conversation she's had like this. And what felt initially like just some venting has turned into some serious game ramifications. In the sense that Morgan and Mickey have seemingly very much departed from one another. They have a very awkward interaction after this whole ranting session, and they really haven't talked significant game in a long time. And it really feels like Morgan is just dying to jump on the Vince and Zach ship. And what does that mean? Could they have pulled Morgan's vote? Who knows? Maybe. But at this point, just worth noting, the Mickey Morgan thing starting to not look very solid. So we'll see where that goes. So all that's happening with Morgan. And after she leaves, Zach and Vince are going to talk. And while Zach and Vince are talking about their split vote tiebreaker situation, Ava's talking with Mickey about it, and saying, Mickey, I don't trust Vince. I think he's voting Will out. And Mickey's like, you might be right, but he wouldn't have the numbers. And they start counting, and they count 5 votes for Will to leave and 7 votes for Adrian to leave. Yeah. See, he wouldn't have the numbers. We don't need to worry, because they keep counting Zach as one of their numbers. They think that Zach has not flipped. And so while they're talking about that, Zach is talking about flipping with Vince. And they think, here's an idea. Maybe as our 7th, we can pull Ava. How about that? Ava, she sleeps all day. She's not in this game. She has no serious connections to those people. Why don't we just grab Ava? Maybe we could do it last minute and see if we could just pressure go. Or we could talk to her tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's too much. Maybe we don't want to go out on such a limb, because if we push and we get exposed for doing this and then it doesn't happen, that would be very bad, right? So maybe we should wait. And then Ava joins them. And they're like, okay. And they make their pitch to Ava. And as soon as they start, the feeds cut over to somebody else. Like Lauren and Kat upstairs. And then eventually just people playing chess.
It's the whole day. It's the only interesting conversation. Maybe they wanted to save it for the episode.
So feeds come back at the end of the conversation when Ava is saying, all right, guys, I'm going to think about it.
What happened?
Thanks. Great talk. So they have made the pitch to Ava. We don't know what it included. But by the time the feeds came back to that conversation, Lauren had joined them. And it was the 3 of them essentially, I assume, trying to get Ava to vote Will out. And Ava was saying, let me think about it. I'm going to sleep on it, whatever. So that conversation happens. Keep that in mind. Before we get to any more of that, though, I want to go back. I told you I'd come back to Ashley and Zach. And it was feels like just yesterday that I was theorizing that Ashley's entire game focuses around Zach, whether or not it is romantic, because, I don't like to presume. But once you say it out loud, okay, now we're here. So Ashley is I was flirting with Zach a little bit over there. And they're like, whoa, are you now? And this is a very, she's talking about how she was hanging out with Zach so much. And then they sort of changed the topic to oh, well, Zach, he's trying to get with Lauren so much. And isn't that funny? And meanwhile, Morgan is in love with Zach. And Rachel's like, well, no. Morgan's spending all her time with her boyfriend, Vince. And Mickey's like, oh, Vince has a girlfriend of 7 years. Rachel's like, what? No, he's single. He's like, no, he has a girlfriend of 7 years. She's like, Does he now? And then they get very, very shady, and I will not repeat that. But while they're in the middle of talking about that, Ashley reinserts herself into the. So I was flirting with Zach, by the way.
I think she wants to have
for fun, for a joke. This is just a joke.
She loves it. She is eating it up. This is gonna like the precursor to her and Morgan having some sort of blowout or something, because like she's really, really stepping on Morgan's toes here, and Morgan is not. I think she's gonna blow. It's gonna be bad. It's coming. And not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Maybe not the next day, but it's coming.
They're like, Ashley, don't do that. You're gonna piss off Lauren. You're gonna piss off Morgan. She's like, I'm not. It's him flirting with me, really. Like sometimes I flirt back a little bit as a joke. Like I'm not even interested. But you know, it's just. And they're like, you're blushing right now. And she's like, what? No, I'm not. I mean, come on. He flirts. He likes flirting. He told me that I looked beautiful like one time, you know. So
I mean, he does flirt with her. It's like
I honestly disagree.
No, like the whole the kiss and there's like certain moments where I do think that he's like reciprocating some flirty little actions.
I think that Zach exists with Ashley and just tries to make sure she doesn't realize how much he dislikes her. Because he does. He wants her gone.
Okay. I mean, so he's using flirty tactics to kind of disarm her, we'll say.
I wouldn't even say that. He barely responds to her. Like, the positioning of how they were talking could have been misinterpreted as a flirtatious, position, maybe. But, I'm telling you, I listen to their conversations. It is her going, so what do you think about Morgan? And him being like, I don't know. Uh-huh. Okay.
Well, it's no matter what, it's going to blow up. It's going to happen.
It's so embarrassing to watch Ashley have this conversation, knowing she's like, we're just like besties. Like, I'm just his bestie. And it's like, you're not. You're really not. And especially as Ashley's like the biggest person beating the drum of like, oh, it's so sad, watching Morgan. It's just so sad. And then she's like, yeah, he's my bestie. We flirt sometimes. And he's like, I want her gone. Like, oh, please. And
do you
let
think
me
that
tell
he would
you,
put her up if he won head of household?
Yeah, he was trying to get her up this week. He was trying to get her
fair,
gone.
But on his own accord, his own doing. Do you think that he would be able to just be like, gotta go, you're going up?
I mean, is Zach able to do anything? Is a question. If it were up to him, I think she would be near the top of his list. He's been trying to get her gone for a while. This conversation goes on for so long. And it's because Ashley keeps anytime they try to stray from the conversation, she just keeps But me and Zach, though. No, guys. That's not happening. He's not even my type. We're not even each other's types.
I mean, maybe she has a little sprinkle of Keanu to Lulu. So she's just in another world here.
Oh man. I don't the unrequited crush thing. I talked about it yesterday and it's gotten even worse. I mean, I don't understand it in the Big Brother house all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, it must be being around good-looking people, and in her regular world, I'm sure a lot of people just she's beautiful, she's intelligent. They probably just everyone just likes her probably, or she thinks they do anyways. And so, why would it be different in the Big Brother house? And so maybe she's just.
I mean, my thing is yes, that happens. But I feel like in the first, 20 plus years of the show, very rarely did it result in a long period of unrequited crush things. Like maybe BB3, maybe a couple people had a crush on Roddy, right? But like for the most part in Big Brother, it's either a showmance and they're hooking up, or it's a no-mance and nothing happening. You know what I mean? But like between last season and this season, it's just all of a sudden I'm having to track the intricate connections of this person has a crush on this person who has a crush on this person who doesn't have a crush on this person who has a crush on this person, and it's influencing the game.
It's true. I wonder if it's like this new generation that doesn't actually commit to things in that way. Like, just like with dating apps and all this stuff, like you have just so much choice and so much option that people don't narrow it down and say yes to things. They're just like, well, something might be better coming along tomorrow. And so maybe that, like this new culture of like not having to say yes or like to put all your eggs into one basket because, you have so many options. Maybe that's kind of what's influencing the dating culture within Big Brother, because yeah, you're right. There's been a big difference. And it's annoying. Like, get together or don't. I don't care about your crush.
It's truly a like, am I out of touch? Nah, it's the kids that are wrong. I don't know.
Come on, those kids. Yeah.
Kids these days. Exactly. And their crushes.
Back in my day.
So that's happening over there. And Zach and Vince are continuing to talk about they're splitting this vote, right? We've been talking about this all day. And then Ava has a moment with Zach in the storage room. She says, oh, by the way, Zach, I was thinking, just one more thing. She's Columbo. I just realized. Just one more thing, Zach. I was thinking about it. You were talking about how there's like 4 locked-in votes to evict Will. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those 4 people, they're like the consensus house targets. Why would we want to associate ourselves with the consensus house targets? I mean, that's just my opinion on this whole thing. That's just my opinion. But like, those are the people. Keanu? We want to associate ourselves with Keanu and Kelly and Catherine, who's like a target soon. Like, I don't know. And Zach's like, wow, that's a good point. She's like, yeah, that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I just thought about it. That's what I thought about. Okay.
I love Ava. She's like actually like I took all my money that I had in Morgan and I put more in Ava this week. Hopefully it pans out, but she's just great.
So you're like, okay, look at that. Ava says no. Zach tells her she made a good point. And then some time passes. Zach goes up and talks to Vince. And he says to Vince, yeah, so I was just talking to Ava, and she made a really good point, actually, which is like, why are we associating ourselves with like Keanu and like all of the house targets? Like even Catherine is like going to be a house target soon. Maybe we shouldn't do it. And Vince goes, oh, that is a good point.
How could they have not have thought of this, though? That's just, like, it's so basic. It's so basic. Like...
Never underestimate the power of wanting to be a cool kid. We would be not the cool kids if we did this. We would be with the weird kids. Ooh. That does make me reconsider doing something that's good for my game.
I guess it's the cool kids. I mean, they should want to, go with the people that that has the house targets, because I don't think that they're going to put them together with them, right? Do you think that they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to put up Adrian and not Adrian, Keanu and Zach, or Keanu and Vince? I don't think that they'll actually end up doing that. It's just very funny that Ava is just able to just sprinkle that little thing in and just like completely change their whole thought process around like something that they've been talking about for the last 24 hours.
She really Columboed them. And they're like, maybe we shouldn't do this. You know what? And plus, then Lauren wouldn't have to break the tie. That would suck for her. I mean, you know, it would just get rid of all the goodwill she just built up anyway. Yeah. All right, I guess we're keeping Will no matter what.
So
here's the thing, because I refused to be tricked by these people twice. I've been saying there's momentum here, that they have the votes. They're saying they're going to do it, but I kept saying, caveat being, they have received zero pushback yet, and they tend to fold once they get some pushback. Now, to be fair, I was expecting them needing more pushback than just a little bit of Ava being like, well, maybe not. But hey, you know, just a tiny little boop. And they, oh no, I guess we can't do it. Oh,
I think they're scared of a split house, to be honest. Like, I think they're afraid to like put their pitchforks in and like get ready to fight and just be going against like another side. And I think that the fact that it's like, ooh, maybe the people are not going to come over and vote the way that we want to. I think that it also is scaring them into like, like I'm going to have to like stand with these people that are the targets. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to do that. So I think the fear of like making a house divide is probably also influencing them.
Mm-hmm. So, now, what I will say is it still could technically happen, because they do talk to Lauren and they say, hey, Lauren, we talked to Ava and she was basically not on board. So, and she's like, well, man, well, hopefully she'll change her mind, and then kind of left. And they were like, I mean, I guess if Lauren still wanted to do it, if Lauren said she was willing to break the tie in the morning, then maybe we would do it. But she won't want to do it. She won't want to do it. And it's clear that they don't want to do it. And so them saying they'll do it if Lauren wants to me is implying that like they're just trying to give her the burden of responsibility, but they don't, I think, want to do it, at least in this moment. And it seems as though that's where things are heading. But there is a possibility, and don't laugh at me, there's a possibility that Lauren could talk them back into doing it, right? Like that's should technically be possible.
Technically be possible, but I do not see that happening. What honest, like percentage wise, what percent do you think that actually will happen?
I mean, I think pretty low, right? Like,
she doesn't push her agenda, or like, you know.
What I will say is if they, because this happens sometimes, but like you sleep on it, you like there's a little bit of like, oh, we got deflated, you sleep on it, and then you're like, wait a minute, why were we so deflated last night? We can totally do this. We saw that with T-Core and Chemo last season, right? Like they could absolutely wake up and kind of like be back on board a little bit, and then Lauren is enough to bolster their confidence again, and then maybe it happens. But like, it seems as though, given how little pushback they needed to fold, that they were probably never that committed to it in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. They never really did any of the proper legwork to do damage control if they were to do this. And that's another angle of this too. Not doing it is the easy path. Not doing it is the thing that that doesn't require as much work. And so if they wanted to go ahead and do it after all, they would need to talk to Morgan. They would need to like prep people, and they were talking about a potential blindside, but like that's also scary. And so it seems like this has been deflated. There's technically a whole day, to come. So stay on the lookout. I'm not gonna make a declarative statement about what's definitely going to happen, but it seems as though this plan has, for now, been called off.
I think it will stay this way. I will put my fork in here and say that I don't think that they have the spines to be able to flip that vote and do all the legwork that they need to flip it. I do not think that Lauren is going to come in. I know that they're going to probably talk to her again, but I don't think that she is going to push that agenda if they're kind of two people are kind of like backing away from it. So I think that we'll be staying if that's the option.
EJ in the chat says Lauren would cast the tiebreaker vote while looking at the TV instead of looking at the podcast. She'd be staring at the TV with Julie on it. I vote to evict Adrian. Oh no. All right. Final thing with Zach and Vince is once they decide they're not going to evict Will, they then talk about like, so we probably shouldn't win HOH, right? Who would we put up? We don't want to have to be the ones to put up Keanu and Catherine and Adrian again. So maybe we throw it.
I mean, please. I would love just somebody else that wants to make a move that's going to be good for their game. Like I want somebody else in that position. So hopefully they do not win it because I don't want to see either of them have a hit out of household right now.
Mind you, Vince has been told so many times, and even says it during the day. Oh, Rachel's saying my name a lot. Rachel's really saying my name a lot. He knows he has people actively targeting him, and he's entertaining the concept of throwing the HOH. Now, they do say, maybe we should win. But, like, why?
I don't think that he has the guts to be able to put up Rachel. Like, that would be declaring war. I can't see that.
Anyway, that's about the day. A whole ring around the rosy here. And we're back to where we started. But really back to where we started at the beginning of the week, pretty much, after such flirtations with boldness. The players have decided seemingly to ditch that plan and go back to where they were before. But in the meantime, they have already exposed themselves. The three of them, Vince, Zach, and Lauren, apparently were in a room. We didn't see the conversation, but they were in a room where they tried to convince Ava to flip her vote. On top of the fact that Keanu has exposed them as being guaranteed votes. Like, people are going to know that you wanted to do this.
Even if you don't do it.
Your only saving grace is that you could have done it. and the fact that you didn't might be a little bit of like, maybe they didn't want to do it after all, because they could have.
Easily.
Anything else that you wanted to bring up, Chantele?
Did you notice my little plushie?
I did. It's very cute.
Olivia, one of our patrons, she gifted to me because I obviously missed that deadline, and so she was able to help me out. So I did get my little Kellis plushie. So thank you for that.
Yes. Well, speaking of, if you missed the deadline for the Kellis plushie last year, don't miss the deadline for my book, Behind the Mirror. Not that there is a concrete deadline, but there is a deadline to pre-order, which is like all of the summer. But you want to pre-order because the pre-orders are the best. You can get a signed copy if you pre-order, if you go to taranarmstrong.com. Also, the pre-order is the best way to support the book and my authorship. So head over there and do that if you so desire. And also check out all the other stuff I'm doing, YouTube and Twitch. I'll be back tomorrow morning updating you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. I'll be live tonight on YouTube and Twitch watching tonight's episode. Then I'll be back here on the podcast talking about tonight's episode. There's all kinds of things going on, all kinds of things to check out. Chantele, where can people check you out?
You can find me on YouTube at Reality Realness with 3 S's, where I've been talking about the new season of the Challenge season 41. The first premiere episode aired yesterday. We already did a recap, and it looks good. And we got some friendly friends in there, so it's been fun seeing America on the screen. It's been good so far. So yeah, join me on these recaps.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and I will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.